Hey everybody, welcome to Can You Fix My Problem? I'm going to be working on a 2002 Ford Taurus today. The problem is when you put the brake on, it sounds like it's metal to metal. Let me get the camera set up and we'll get going on it. Okay, to do this project, we're going to need a couple tools. An air gun to take off the tires. I always like having a nice shop light. Give me a little bit of light here so I can see what I'm doing, look for any problems. I'm also going to use a 15 millimeter and a 12 millimeter. I'll have to take off the nuts on the wheels. Those are 3/4. Let's get this wheel off and get started. Earlier, I already took off the center cap. It just pops off with a screwdriver. Going to pull the tire out. While you're at it, you might check your tire. Make sure you don't see any nails, any uneven wear. If you've got uneven wear somewhere, you're definitely going to want to check out that alignment. You might have a problem there. We're going to replace our brakes today. How about a pair of ceramic pads? I like the wear of the ceramic pads. They last a little bit longer. Give you a nice even braking. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is get the 12 out. To take 12 millimeter wrench out, I'm going to loosen 2 bolts back here. There's one at the top here on the caliper, and then there's one on the bottom. Okay, let's keep a little closer look at those. Okay, this is the back of your brake here. Okay. You got one of the bolts right here, and the other one's on the bottom side right here that you're going to be removing, and this will take off the caliper. I always remember that when you're doing these jobs, I always inspect everything. You never know when you're going to find that crack. You're going to find something missing or a loose part. Brake hose, leaking caliper. You don't want to do this more than once, because I'll tell you what, it's not fun. Okay, these are the bolts right here. This takes off the where the pads are. Okay, there's your caliper. I always like to get my caliper pushed back in. I use a C-clamp and I use a block of wood. What I do is I put it between the housing and the pad itself back here, and I carefully, emphasis on carefully, start twisting it in. Okay, go real slow. You don't want to blow anything out of this. You blow that seal and it's a bear to replace. I have a tool, a special tool that they make to do this, but I'm trying to show you how to do this on a budget. Now, once you start getting it in, you can see where it's compressing. Don't reef it in. Do not reef it in, because what will happen is you're going to rip this rubber and you're not going to have brakes when you get out in the street. Gently take it in. You'll be able to feel its seat, and then stop. Do not go any further. Stop right there. Remove the C-clamp. We're all done with the C-clamp and a piece of wood. Now I've got this caliper ready to go and ready to put the brakes on. What I'm looking for is any fluid. See if there's any tears, any fluid back in the back end here. I don't see any, so I got lucky. And I'm going to take off our pads. Just as I suspected. Nasty, nasty. Now, on the back here, let me show you these. Now on the back, to take the hub off, I've got a bolt here. This is where we took the caliper off now. Got a bolt here. I got one down here I'm going to have to crack loose. What that does is it'll loosen up the support bracket, and we'll be able to remove it, and we'll be able to remove the hub. So I'll get those off now. Got the 2 bolts off. As you can see, oops, these are the 2 bolts, and this is your bracket. I always like to inspect, by the way, it's 15 millimeters on the back of the 2 bolts. They bolt in right to here. Then the first 2 we took off are up here. I always like to inspect, make sure there's, because this is pot metal, it breaks easy sometimes if you get something up in there or you hit it. I'd like to make sure I don't have any cracks. I sure don't want to get in this job again. Okay, this one looks pretty good. Don't see any big dents, cracks, or anything. So, now we're going to take off the hub. And there's what happens right there when you brake pads go bad. You can, I don't know if you can see the grooves or not. It's pretty nasty. Now you can probably take this down and turn it, but I'm not going to. I bought a brand new one I'm going to put on there. Let me go get that and we'll put it back in reverse order. It's a good idea that you always make sure you got the same hubs. I always like just to kind of sit it on there and take a look, make sure everything matches up on the new one, the old one. Slip that on. I'm going to put the bracket back on. First thing we do is got to put the lower bolts back in. Remember, that's 15 millimeters we're going to use. That always helps be smarter in the bolt before you can put it back in. Okay, once these bolts are tight, you want to make sure you tighten to the right foot pounds that your book calls for. So make sure you read the book and get those tightened down correctly. After we get this done, we're going to put on the caliper and brake pads, and then we'll be ready to go. So let me get my torque wrench, we'll get the back bolts torqued on. I'm going to get the caliper and the brake pads in there. We're going to be replacing our brakes today. I bought a pair of ceramic pads. I like the wear of the ceramic pads. They last a little bit longer, give you a nice even braking. I apologize for this being a little dark, but I'd like you to see what's going on as we go. Now what we're going to do is, these are your brake shoes, okay? You're simply going to make sure the pad side, this is going to the back, is facing where it's going to be putting the pressure on. Okay? As you can see, they fit snugly in there. As you remember, we'd already taken our caliper and we'd move it back in. So now what we're going to do is just place it back on. Get our two small bolts. Okay, we got those on. We're going to tighten them up, torque them down. We'll be ready to fly on this thing. Put the wheel back on, we're going to be good to go. You always want to take it out. Now, when you start going and you've just done a job, sometimes you have to, sometimes you don't have to bleed them. A lot of people bleed them every time. I've seen people that know how to do this. They put them on, they're off to the races. They don't have to mess with bleeding them. So what we're going to do is we moved it back far enough to where I got it in there. If it's spongy after I take it out for my test ride, then I'm going to have to bleed the brakes. Once you put your wheels back on, always remember these, it's suggested by Ford that you torque these down to specification. Make sure you check your manual to get that correct torque specification and do it correctly. Mine are a little better when they put these on, put the cab back on, torque the nuts down, we're good to go. Hopefully this helped you guys out. If there's anything else you guys would like to ask me a question about, drop me a line. Thanks for watching. This is Mike KO. Until next time. Bye.